Talk about being right there.
I see you. You all right?
Got hit up pretty good. Looks like I got hit from behind or something.
Well, of course, we know different than that, as you saw it right from Michael's onboard camera. Scott Pruitt talking to Jim McGee, his team manager, and the IndyCar safety team right there. Fire has burned itself out at the back of the car, and that eliminates Pruitt from the championship. So now we're seeing some pit stops. Jan Beekes?
Yes, Teo Bobby, our leader, brings it in. He had just called in on the radio saying that he was one of those cars that was going very loose. So they have told him to take the front sway bar and make it full stiff. Now they're going to try and make an adjustment. Oh, they have a problem with the right rear. They have a problem with the gun. Teo Bobby in big trouble here. Is going to lose the lead for sure. They still can't get it tightened. Now Teo Bobby is down, but a long stop for Teo Bobby today.
Andre Ribeiro was rolling, but Michael Andretti, it looks, may have been the first out. Yeah, Michael Andretti got out ahead of everybody. So a round of stops under the second yellow of the day, bringing most of the field in, causing grief for Teo Fabi because of the problem with the air gun, and gives Michael Andretti the lead of the race. Let's go back. Scott Pruitt, they say, is okay. Here's what happened.
Michael tries to come down the inside. Doesn't quite make it. Pruitt's now in the area where Fernandez crashed. All by himself. He loses control. From then on, just like Fernandez.
On Friday.
On Friday, one-way ticket to the concrete wall.
Now, we are aware there's a little bit of a ripple in the pavement right about there.
Here's the move from the in-car with Michael. He gets a good run on turn 2. Passes Vassar, passes Bozell, tries to get by Pruitt. Can't do it. Pruitt gets brave. Watch this. See Michael on the brakes. Michael got on the brakes to make sure he didn't get gathered up by Pruitt. So Pruitt, despite thinking he may have got tapped from the back, this was a loose oversteering car. It happened all by himself, and we know that Gordon is complaining about being loose, as is Brian Herta.
So Scott Pruitt, the report is he's okay. You see him walking back with Dr. Terry Tremmel, one of the IndyCar physicians. We're under our second yellow of the day. We'll be back right after this.
Mentioned a short time before the yellow came out in the incident involving Pruitt that Tracy was the man on the move, and then suddenly he was having a major problem with the car. He came in under the benefit of the yellow, and underneath that wrap right down there is a right front tire that was badly worn. That was greatly contributing to the ill handling. The Goodyear engineers have already taken a preliminary look at it. They'll say they'll try to determine, of course, with further testing and observation, just what may have caused the problem. Don't know if it was a lock brake, don't know if it was a tire pressure problem or what, but that was dramatically influencing the handling for Tracy. So this yellow was fortuitous for him. Meanwhile, while Teo Fabi was having his problems in the pit, Andre Ribeiro came in, got routine service. He gained that position back from Teo as he easily slid back on the circuit. Michael Andretti, however, yet to come in and make the stop, Paul.
One guy definitely on the move. Al Unser Jr. has moved from 17th to 6th. And there is the serial scoring on Little Al's car as he comes around under the yellow, second yellow of the day. We are scoring on the 47th lap. The Bud 1 airship bringing us today's aerial shots. It's up 1,000 feet over this bull ring here, 194 feet long. Gives us some great aerials and has helped us analyze both of the accidents we've seen thus far.
Football can be exciting.
Should be going back to green flag shortly here. And here's some very interesting information. The pit stop summary. There's Michael. He came in 4th, out in 1st. Paul Tracy in 6th, out in 2nd. The real loser in the whole thing seemed to be Teo Fabi, who went in 1st and came out in 8th. So we'll keep an eye on him in 8th position and see if he's able to move up through the field, because he certainly is fast on the track, but the pits failed him on that one.
And take a bow, everybody in the Newman Haas team who goes over the wall to serve as Michael's car and Paul Tracy, because that was a good example of the driver needing all the help he can get on a 1-mile oval. And when he comes down the pit lane and makes that amount of place improvements, you have to say that the team is working extremely well.
And as an update, the Newman Haas stops both Michael and Paul Tracy. We're going to split them up and watch on boards. Were routine stops for them.
The interesting thing now is we have two of the most aggressive drivers on 1-mile ovals. Michael leading Tracy, who loves to make that outside move, and of course They just got one finger. Next time by, they will get one finger, and it's all action again.
Michael Andretti, Paul Tracy nose to tail. That's the split screen you're looking at. Andretti in front, Tracy in second, then Jimmy Vasser, Ribeiro, Christian Fittipaldi, and Al Unser Jr. up in sixth place, who's coming up through the field. By the way, two of the teams, at least, Penske Racing and Newman Haas, sent spotters up to the press level to a grandstand normally used up here by NASCAR, for example, to spot. And there was an official decision that they can't view from up there. They can view from grandstand. We've run into that before at Milwaukee and a couple of other places. They were up there. They said, no, but you can move down to a grandstand. And they were concerned, quite concerned about the safety issue. And safety, certainly, we've seen it as a problem on this track. Here we go. We're ready to run back to green. Lap 51. 1/4 of the race already done.
Watch Paul Tracy trying to pull a move. But Ribeiro tries to block Christian Fittipaldi. Ribeiro, I think, having a good race here. Staying on the lead lap, keeping his nose clean and learning a lot.
Fellow Brazilians, Ribeiro, Fittipaldi, battle for fourth. Nothing changes at the front. There comes Teo Fabi pass just ahead of Robbie Gordon. So he's moved around one car, and that's Gordon. Teo very definitely moving up through this field now.
Bobby did such a great job all season long with this Jerry Forsyth entry. Virtually no damage in testing or in racing for the whole season. Little bit at Portland, but Gordon is in trouble again. Gilles de Ferran goes down the inside.
Whatever they were working on doesn't look like it worked. De Ferran got around him. Now Jacques Villeneuve closes up behind Gordon. Gordon is ninth. Back to the front. Michael Andretti closing on Bobby Rahal. Rahal runs in 15th place. Of course, he is the end of the lead lap. Down and under. There's the view from Rahal's car. Paul Tracy should be next, coming up to the left there.
So Rahal, who struggled all week here, is just not fast enough to stay on the pace. Now he's one lap down. Michael has a little bit of breathing space because Jimmy Vasser is on the charge and trying to run down Michael Andretti.
All points contenders. There is Vasser coming out of the corner of the screen. And Ribeiro comes to the inside as Paul Tracy closes the door on him, and they close down on Vasser.
Well, Paul Ribeiro seems to be good. Here's the Honda power. Look at this. Ford versus Honda down the inside. This Firestone car is very good. We saw Pruitt pull it off earlier, and yes, he does it.
Oh, is that great? So Ribeiro moves up one on Paul Tracy. The order is Michael Vasser Tracy, Michael Vasser Ribeiro now.
Andre Ribeiro is beginning to show how good he is here and how good this Tasman team is and the car they have put under him, because he seems to have a confidence level right now to dive down inside these star names, and Michael is not that far up the road.
Ribeiro moves to the inside again, this time on Fangio.
See how decisive that move is, Paul?
Turned it right in.
No ifs, buts, just straight down the inside. Oh, what a pleasure it is now for Ribeiro. We talked about the fun you have on an oval track. That's exactly what you see here. A confident driver with a fast car enjoying himself, making more passes than he has probably in the last couple of seasons.
A pleasure when the car is fast and good.
And that's what
But it's not like Robbie Gordon's. It can be a very long day.
An absolute nightmare it can be.
Back to the front of the field. There is the leader, Michael Andretti. Now take a look up. We'll see where second place is. There he is, Ribeiro. As he flashes across the line, 3.3 seconds behind the leader, Jimmy Vasser, now trying to get out of traffic himself so he can, from third place, renew his attack on Ribeiro. Gary Gerald?
Oh, that spotter story's taken another little wrinkle here, if you will. Not only are there stands up there where you folks are at the top of the suites in the press box watching the front straightaway in the racetrack, we understand that Ribeiro had a spotter in turn 2 on a photo location. We were informed by IndyCar officials that they're now escorting him from that location. So I guess he'll be looking for a grandstand ticket as well.
Looking back to Al Unser Jr. Still runs in 6th, and look at the traffic that he has to work with.
And that is for position. Teo Fabi behind him. Christian Fittipaldi just ahead of him. Fabi looks to be the fastest car of this group here.
But you mentioned that Christian can be very tough to pass.
Well, look at Al Jr. had to look to the outside. Now watch what Fabi does here. Stays down to the inside, has a grandstand view of what might happen. DeFerrin's right behind him. Here goes Junior.
Al Unser Jr. moves to the inside of Fittipaldi. Teo Fabi may not be able to get past. No, he can't. At the same time, up at the front, Ribeiro is closing on Michael Andretti. Now a second and a half behind. DeFerrin looking to the inside of Teo.
And Jacques Villeneuve where he wanted to be. He's in the top 10. He's actually running 9, looking strong, trying to pass DeFerrin.
Still can't get it done.
See the twitch on the front as he turned in there. That means the car may get away at any second. That tells the driver that's the limit. Don't go any further.
So for the young Canadian, it must be a frustrating day. He knows he can wrap up the championship. He knows because of that he has to be careful. But as a driver, he also knows you can be too careful.
And he also knows that Frank Williams watches every move he makes, that Frank Williams likes him and has already put his contract in his back pocket, so he's happy.
Yeah, so no worries. Teo Fabi. Jr. now working up through the field trying to get Tracy.
4th and 5th. Al Jr. likes the high side. He sets him up on the high side. Vibration from the rear wing of Paul Tracy's car. This car that Paul Tracy is in has had so much understeer here all weekend. They tried a new aerodynamic tweak. They wouldn't tell me exactly what it was. They just said it did not work. They're on suspension number 5 on the front of this car, trying to get rid of some of the understeer that causes these drivers to have to come off the power and just go slower than they can go.
Here's the running order after 64 laps. The real key is that number 1 position, Michael Andretti, because if he stays there, he's going to delay, if not ruin, any championship that Jacques Villeneuve has in mind, because it closes him into such a position that the championship would go on at least to the next race at Vancouver. 3 previous winners here at New Hampshire have gone on to win the championship in the same year. Ray Hall in 92, Mansell in 93, Unser Jr. last year.
Look at this side by side with Ray Hall. 1.5 laps. Ray Hall, we thought, was moving down to the inside. Made Jr. work so hard to go around the outside. Well, they have confidence in each other. They don't mind being side by side. It takes a full lap and a half to finally pull it off. Wonder why someone like Ray Hall just doesn't seem to be fast. If you have a push, you come off the power, you've no option but to let other people pass you. So Michael Andretti is the leader, but Andre Ribeiro is closing in, and Jimmy Vasser runs in 3rd. Jacques Villeneuve and